1 second. That's it.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome to Quarantine on Fire. Hope you all
Yes.
had a nice weekend.
Welcome. Oh yeah, you had a good weekend. That's right.
I had a very good weekend. I didn't go out much. Funny.
It was Sunday.
I have to look at a calendar to know when it's the weekend now. Every day is the same.
Right. Oh my God. So we have been cooking a lot. We're trying to figure out what to do for to-go food, delivery food. We're putting our menu together this week. Finish up our delivery menu. We're gonna do something really healthy and super nutritive. We're going to start with few items, about 6 items, 6, 7 items. We're going to post them probably tomorrow or Wednesday to see, and then starting to make food next week at Kitchen on Fire.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and we can only do limited, of course. But anyway, so
We're doing some really good cooking here too, but it's only for us.
thanks a lot.
We're just selfish pigs, and we eat all the food we cook.
So I did want to show you something very important about my garlic when we have a chance. Okay. This is something I was telling you earlier when I was telling you about horseradish. Horseradish, amazing food. Now, not just horseradish is good. Garlic is also the same kind of level of superpower. And the way I prepare my garlic is this: I slice the garlic. You can see here. I don't know if you can see. No,
I can see it.
The white stuff. Okay, the white stuff is the garlic. I chopped it really fine. You can smash it also. You have to let it sit for 10 minutes. Then you mix it with your honey, turmeric, little cayenne and black pepper, and you just eat that. And you eat about twice a day.
Just eat it with a spoon?
Yeah.
Nice.
So also another antibiotic that's really, really strong. And right now you need all the help you can go. Yep. All right, cool.
Yeah. All right.
So
I should have that every time before I go to Trader Joe's and wait in line.
You should have that. Yeah, you should definitely have that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that tip. That's good.
So
we have questions. I mean, I have lots of questions, but we have questions from students that we need to answer.
Real questions. So
the real questions and made up answers. No, we tell
we
them
have answers, but we actually have a bunch of answers without question. We need to figure that out.
Oh, that's kind of a philosophical discussion. So the first question today is, somebody wanted to know, what challenges have you had to overcome in the kitchen?
Wow, that's a big one, no?
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Let me look at.
For me, it was the timing of food. Like if I'm cooking dinner for a group of people, it's doing it so that everything comes out at the same time.
Right.
I mean, years ago when I started, that was always difficult.
You know what? Some of my challenges was to cook in new kitchen. When I do catering, when I used to do catering, we used to go to kitchens to make food, and we arrive in the kitchen, and the kitchen is completely brand new, and it has never been used like ever. And we're like, so we open the oven, and there's plastic in there. It's never been used. That the people have lived here for like a year or two. So I didn't know what to do because I didn't know if the oven was ever turned on and if it was anything I should have done before anyway. So we figured it out. But that's what happened when you go to do a catering and you forget something important. You can't forget.
Years ago, I would go to a friend's house and cook. This years ago, back when I had friends.
Right.
I would go to somebody's kitchen and I would go to cook, and the knives were like wooden. They were just dull as it could be.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Crappy pots and pans. Never the right pan for what I needed. That was always a challenge. That was in somebody else's kitchen, not mine. I've always had good cookware. In fact, I've always secretly suspected that my wife married me for my cookware. It couldn't have been for my money.
Or for your
Or for my looks, yeah.
Now your looks, yeah.
Had to be the
When I
cook.
see you through a webcam, it's different.
Yeah, well, this isn't really me. I'm wearing a mask.
It's not really you.
I actually look just like Brad Pitt, but I put this mask on just so I don't create too much confusion.
So more challenge in the kitchen. So basically, what for me the challenges were every time I go to a new job, because I was not always a chef or a cook. I was also a bartender, mostly a bartender, waiter. And what I did is I used to go to a restaurant. I used to change restaurant a lot. And every time you arrive to a new restaurant, you have to kind of, you have to prove your point and show them that you're good, and they should let you take all the best stations and on and on. So that's why the challenge was that how to get my mark done right away.
Yeah.
And but there's many challenges. I think we should make a whole list of that. I think people could instead of asking that question, they could give us the challenge they have. That would be interesting.
My biggest challenge in the kitchen today is we're in the process of painting all the cabinets where the dishes are. So the dishes are all stacked in the living room. So every time I go to get something, it takes me 5 minutes to find it. So that's my current challenge. Hopefully that will sort itself out once we can put everything back.
Right. I see a lot of people doing cooking classes online.
Oh yeah. People are doing a lot of stuff online.
Yeah.
Imagine crazy people doing podcasts during this.
Yeah, this podcast, those are the craziest. I know. They should, yeah. All right.
Well, I have another question.
Yes, sir.
It's kind of similar. I don't know. It actually relates back to last Friday. We talked about cookbooks a little bit, and this one's kind of in the same realm. It's where do you start in adapting recipes?
We're going to talk about cookbooks a lot, no? I mean, I love cookbooks.
I love cookbooks.
Who doesn't? I mean, really, who doesn't like cookbook?
I knew a guy who liked cookbook. So where do you start when you're going to adapt a recipe? I mean, I guess I would ask, why are you adapting the recipe?
Well, there's many ways for that. There's one, you have some of the ingredients you can't eat, or that you have a special diet that prevents you from eating that, or some of the ingredients you don't like. Many reasons. And it's very easy. And what?
Something's not available, like
right,
you go to the market with a recipe, and
so that happens a lot. And so the way you work with the recipe is simple. You go and get your ingredients first. Don't look at the whole recipe first. Look at the ingredients. Get that ingredients understood if you can get everything. Then you look at the direction. You kind of read quickly the directions. And maybe sometime you don't have a stove, or you don't have an oven, or you're missing a piece of equipment. You're going to have to adapt, right? You're going to have to adapt. And it could be, when you change stuff in an ingredient list, you have to understand the density of food. So I can change carrots for beets. Yeah, no problem. But I can't change carrot for zucchinis.
Right.
Right. But I mean, it's makes sense for me or for most people who cook, but otherwise it doesn't make sense. So you have to understand the density of food, and the more dense the food is, the longer it cooks.
Right.
And the longer it takes to spoil. So if I take a carrot or an onion, and that has to do with breathing. So every vegetables breathe, herbs and vegetables, they do breathe. And what's happening is the fast breather cooks fast and spoiled fast. So if I compare carrots and zucchinis, the zucchinis have a lot of water. They will decay pretty faster than the carrots.
Sure.
And they'll cook faster also, because the zucchinis are not dense. They are very spread out. The cell walls are spread out. You can actually feel that. So the carrots, you can't. So to resume, the harder the vegetables, and most time the onion and stuff like that, you can leave them outside. You can keep them for a long time, and they will take forever to cook, because to cook a vegetable, the temperature has to get to the center of the piece. So if it's a zucchini, it's going to go really fast. Mushroom fast. Carrot is going to take for a long time, maybe 30 minutes. You see that it's about density. So when you do substitutions, you have to look at density and see how much water is in the vegetables and fruit and stuff. So vegetables, they breathe. Again, this is how they are alive. You need to eat alive food in order to sustain, because we can't eat dead food only. And alive food means alive food with enzymes, so fresh food, uncooked. You need cooked food and raw food. And vegetables breathe. They breathe literally every day, and they lose nutrients every day. So if the vegetables are all like salads, for example, that breathe really fast, then the salad after a few days doesn't have much nutrients. It's okay. We don't have much choice right now. It's fine. But I'm just saying that's how it works. So if you have a pantry with a lot of vegetables that breathe fast, like zucchinis, herb, mushroom, you do them first, and you cook the other one that are dense later.
That's right.
Got that?
Well, I suspect that that reminds me, dead food. When people have asked for, I know a chef who has a seafood restaurant in San Diego, and he would serve like tuna steaks or something, and people would want them well done, and he would come out to the table and he'd say, that fish is already dead. We killed it once. We don't have to kill it the second time. Well, I think the person who asked that question wanted to write his own cookbook, so he wants to steal recipes. So in that case, I think if you make 3 changes, the recipe's yours. Unless you're stealing it from our cookbook, in which case we will find you, we will hunt you down.
Wow.
And we will do something to you.
That's mean.
So,
yes, sir.
So the answer to that question is yes.
Totalmente. Sorry, I'm closing some stuff. Yes, absolutely.
All right. So I have a good quote here. I think it's a good quote. You may not, but I think it is.
I do.
This is by a guy named Martin Fisher. I have no idea who he is, but he said, the breakfast slimes, angel food cake, donuts and coffee, white bread and gravy, cannot build an enduring nation. That's kind of an awkward quote, but I think what he's trying to say is when you eat really crappy food, you can't build a nation on crappy food. Although we've managed to do it.
We can see that now. I mean, this is very obvious that all these diseases are not 100%, but most of it is based on the fact that people have no immune system or very compromised. I'm sorry, but you can race all day long trying to find vaccines and cure for disease and heart condition and CVD and cancer. If you don't eat properly, I don't see the point of searching, where you could start with the source and eat properly and exercise and have a decent life and not worry about the medicals, because that's not going to happen if you're healthy, and you should not worry about this. This is crazy.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. So interpret recipes. We could do a video on that. That'd be fun, to take a recipe and maybe do, what would be great to do, like take a recipe and do 3 versions of that.
Yeah. Or we could take a recipe.
I wonder if we can cook together, Chef. James, let's try to cook together.
Okay. Right now?
No.
I don't have a stove in my office, but
maybe you can do. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
I can toss the salad.
We're gonna try to do a couple of online. I don't think the online is very difficult, I can tell you. We've done that. It's very difficult to do live online. Filming classes is easier, but live is tough. But I am going to do. We're going to start to do the 12 weeks that we owe people, my poor students that are at home right now and are trying to learn how to cook. So we're going to put that up for them to start with, and see if we develop any more of those classes. But I can't wait to have the school open in a few months, probably. Who knows? But
I've had to go live on television before. I was promoting olive oil around the country, and I was on the Food Network in New York, and they suddenly told me they wanted me to cook something on my thing, and I only had like 3 or 4 minutes.
Wow.
So I just cooked some shrimp in a pan and did it really quickly. But I had some already cooked so that the host could pick some up and eat it, because I didn't even know if I could get it cooked in time. It was crazy.
Really? Wow. Because shrimp cook fast, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. So
I have another question.
So for the ingredient, I think we should do a little video and go through the steps of taking a recipe and reading the recipe and understanding the recipe and maybe switching stuff around. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a good
Okay,
idea.
that's my plan. Soon, maybe this week or next week.
Okay. So another question wanted to know, and I wrote in parentheses after this question, these are real questions, folks. This is a silly one, but what popular cooking equipment is really garbage?
Huh. Well,
I'll tell you, when I was a kid, my dad one year got what was called an omelet pan.
Yeah. Oh my
and
God.
it was a pan, and it was sort of a crescent-shaped pan, but it had hinges on one side.
Yeah.
So you opened it up, and it was round, and you put it on the stove. And the idea was I don't know if you put eggs in both sides or how that worked, but then you close it and cook and it was to make an omelet.
And then
it
you
was
flip it. I remember the fans. My God.
So you could flip it without having to.
Right.
I'll tell you, even as a kid, I thought it was the silliest thing I'd ever heard of, and I didn't even know how to cook an omelet then. So, but even then, I knew that
for the tortilla, like we spoke about. That's.
Yeah, I wish I still had the pan though. It'd be great to show people.
I've seen those pans. They're great. I
think
one of the tools that I mean, there's many tools that you don't need in the kitchen. I mean, the truth is there's so many gadgets, and there's so much you can do with your paring knife. You know what paring knife is? It's a little guy. It's called Econom, and it's the knife that we use a lot in kitchen. My mom only uses that. She's never seen a big knife, I don't think. I mean, she has an old, and I think some of the tools that are kind of stupid is one of them is the core for apples. You know that thing you put in apples?
Yeah.
That's right. Because you can cut around with a knife and make much prettier slices for pies.
Yeah,
you cut around the core in a pretty way. You don't end up with this hole in the middle. Plus, it's never right. Garlic press are really good. A lot of people use them, and what I like about the garlic press is you don't have to cut to eat garlic, and this is super important. I love the idea. So I don't mind that. But all the garlic peel and all this stuff, that's stupid.
I mean, I tend to not like gadgets that only have one use.
Right, exactly.
Just takes up space in your drawers and I mean, I don't really have drawers in my kitchen. We have crocks and bus tubs full of stuff, and I just don't want to have to dig through a pile of stuff to find the tool that does the one little thing that I need to do. And most of those single-use gadgets, like you say, you can do it just as efficiently with a paring knife. Yeah.
That's the thing, because I don't know how much space you have in your kitchen, but if you buy tools a lot, you're going to end up with a bunch of stuff you're never going to use. I mean, you use only a couple of tools in the kitchen, that's all. So
I mean, if you buy a lot of gadgets like that, you're probably keeping some small company in business. So I say, if it's something you like to use it, then it's a good thing. But I think a lot of those things are kind of pointless.
And that's the thing, man. When you go to so when you come to Kitchen on Fire, we show you the tools, and we show you the tool that you need to have, and not the other. I don't believe you should have too many tools. That's me. I don't think the chef, the tools makes the chef, but whatever. What do I know? What do I know? Seriously. This is good.
I mean, do carpentry, and there's a lot of special tools for doing woodworking that are necessary, because there are certain things, you don't have like the equivalent of a paring knife in carpentry. I mean, you need certain things.
A grenade.
But cooking's pretty simple, really.
In carpentry, I think the equivalent of the paring knife would be the match. When you're not happy, you just burn everything. No, woodworking is very precise. You need all the tools. That's different. In cooking,
Yeah.
you don't need all those tools. Those are way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
space has always been an issue in all the kitchens I've ever had, and I just never
the garbage?
wanted. My garbage can is garbage.
So I want to talk about the garbage, though. Garbage needs to be small and needs to be changed often. This is super important. You can't have a garbage that's full of dirty food in your kitchen, because this is how bacteria are breeding, and that's a very bad area. If you're concerned about your kitchen, it has to be very dry all the time. So if it's wet, just dry it up and you should be fine pretty soon. But the garbage needs to be small and emptied regularly. And you should not work from your garbage. You should work from a compost bowl, a garbage bowl, and then put your stuff in. That goes in the compost or garbage at the end.
That is a good idea. It's
that is a
yeah.
Cool.
Again, I've cooked in people's kitchens when everything I tried to do, the garbage can was overflowing with food.
I know.
Like 6 weeks ago, and it's gross. It's gross, and it's.
What do you think? So I want to ask people. I'm always curious to see what people think it is. You know, in the kitchen we work with a lot of flavors and smells and aromas, and then sometimes we smell the cheese or whatever. Everything smells, right?
Yeah.
But there's no bleach. Once you smell bleach, that's another smell, but that's a smell. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to have people understand that everything that goes in through your nose goes through your blood. So whatever you smell that is strong enough so you can smell it, those are the oil or esters or whatever it is that is going into your system. So if I smell 409 or bleach all day long, those are going into my lungs. Those hydrocarbons that are really terrible. So anything, it could be the garbage from your home. If it smells really bad, those are bad stuff. You can't leave your nose in there. You have to kind of like, you know what I mean? You have to be careful with those things. So this is the smells and the flavors, same. Flavors are, that's the nutrients that goes in your blood. So if I smell a beautiful apple, I know I'm going to have a lot of nutrients in there. But if I cut the apple or bite it and there's no flavor, well, there's no flavor. That means there's no nutrients, okay?
Yeah, smells are very important. You know, when I worked at Dean and DeLuca many years ago,
what is that? Tell us what is it. It's pretty cool.
Well, it doesn't exist anymore, apparently, but it was a very famous food store in New York City, and I was the buyer there for about 10 years. And we would not carry any kind of scented. We sold a lot of candles and soap and things like that, but we wouldn't carry them with any kind of scent at all.
Wow.
And people would say, "Well, don't you have scented candles?" We'd say, "No, we don't want those smells in the you know, if you want a peach flavored candle, go to a gift shop somewhere and buy it, but we don't sell that." We're very strict about it.
We have wax, we have a peach.
MFK Fisher wrote a story once about it was the first time she had been invited to be a judge at a wine competition up in the wine country up north, and she was so excited about it. She got all dressed up and she put on her best perfume, and she went to the tasting, and she happened to be seated next to a guy. I forget who it was, but he was a professional wine writer. This guy was really the real deal, and he was livid. He was livid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No,
how can I taste wine when you
can, man? I remember at César sometime that this old woman would come with like tons of perfume.
Oh my God.
People could not eat. You can't eat. It's like, it's disgusting. And we had to tell her, look, you know, next time we have to say something. You can't just like, I mean, it's too much. And I know it's hard to say. Can you not think?
Yeah. My wife and I have been in restaurants before where somebody sat next to us at the bar, just reeking of
Right?
perfume.
You can't eat. You can't smell anything.
And
It's crazy.
it's like, oh my God, what?
You can't have perfume in the kitchen or jewelry. By the way, in professional kitchen, there's no perfume or jewelry or watches or anything actually. And when you cook, yeah,
Just those really large hoop earrings. That's all you wear in the kitchen.
yeah,
Right?
those because those are trendy. That's different.
Because you can also hang your tools on it.
All right, so it's gonna be over. You guys, you understand? We're here to just have fun with you. There's no, just kind of like relax. It's a tough time, but we need to have our head clear if we ever want to come back to a real world or something that's not too crazy. So we have to keep, our mood really important in high. Nobody has any money coming in. We're all in the same bag. The food people, it's a terrible time right now. And we're gonna make food starting next week, and we are making new T-shirts. My brothers designed a bunch of cool T-shirts. We're gonna put them online in the next couple of days. Also, anything to try, to survive for next few months, and then we'll be back. I mean, if we can.
Yeah, thank you for joining us every day. Our parole officer appreciates it. This is how we convince him that we're staying out of trouble. So
You know why I appreciate that though?
why?
Because he knows where we are.
Yeah, exactly.
For that half an hour, there's no. Yep, he knows exactly where we are.
Yeah, and if we have to be here every day, we can't get too far away. So
right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Well, it's almost
Thank you, people. Great. See you tomorrow.
Adios.
James, I'll see you tomorrow too.
I will see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
On that little screen in front of me. Okay,